Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, April 20th, 2023. Today we're going to recap the NBA Stanley Cup playoff games from yesterday, look ahead to tonight's playoff games in each sport, Major League Baseball, soccer, golf. We'll recap Survivor from last night a little bit, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with the NBA playoffs. We will go over the results from last night and look ahead to tonight's games. Grizzlies upset the Lakers, and I say that in quotes, 103-93 to even this baby up at one apiece. Xavier Tillman led the way with 22 points and 13 boards. LeBron had 28 and 12. Bucks over the Heat, 138-122. They even up the series at one apiece. No Giannis. Brook Lopez stepped up. He had 25 points. Jrue Holiday stepped up too. Jimmy Butler had 25 for Miami. Nuggets over the T-Wolves, 122-113 to take a 2-0 series lead. Jamal Murray, 40 points. Anthony Edwards had 41 to keep Minnesota relevant in the game. 3 games tonight, 7:30 on TNT of the Sixers at the Nets from the Barclays Center. I project the Sixers by 3.5, total 225 and 9/20. And we got here the Sixers by 4.5, total 210. I like the over a lot, and I think this could be the game where Brooklyn wins to make this a little more interesting than it should. 10 o'clock TNT, Kings Warriors. My line is Kings 2.5, total 237 and 7/20. And the Warriors are a 6-point favorite without Draymond, total 239.5. I'm taking Sacramento plus the points. I'm willing to take them 2-1 to win outright too, but this is past performance line from last year. That's what that is. Draymond Green, I get it. He's not the same player anymore, but the Warriors should not be favored by 6, maybe 3. But I project the Kings as a 2.5-point favorite. Even I think that's a little off. I think it should be at most Warriors by 3. And at 10:30 NBA TV, Suns Clippers. My line's the Suns by 2, total 226, and it's 3 and 226.5. Very, very close. Slight lean to the Clippers. So I like all 3 underdogs tonight. And I think that all 3 have a chance to win outright. All right, now I'll move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight's game 2s. Hurricanes over to Islanders 4-3 in overtime on a game winner by Jesper Fast as the Canes go up 2-0 in the series. Number 3 started game with the goal, Paul Stastny. Number 2 started game with the goal and assist, Jacob Slavin. Number 1 started game with the overtime winner, Jesper Fast. Panthers upset the Bruins 6-3 to even up this baby at 1 apiece. Number 3 started game with 2 assists, Matt Tkachuk. Number 2 started the game with the goal, Sam Bennett. Number 1 started the game with 2 goals, Brandon Montour. Stars over the Wild 7-3 to even up the series at 1 apiece. Number 3 started a game with 4 assists, Miro Heiskanen. Number 2 started a game with 2 goals, Evgeny Dadonov. Number 1 started a game with a hat trick and an assist, Roop Hintz. Oilers over Kings 4-2 to even up the series at 1 apiece. Best bet was a loser. Number 3 started a game with the goal, Philip Deneau. Number 2 started a game with the goal and 2 assists, Leon Draisaitl. Number 1 started a game with the goal, Klim Kostin. All right, 4 games tonight, 7 o'clock on ESPN. You have the Lightning at the Maple Leafs. Leafs are minus 172. The Lightning are plus 142 over under 6.5. Overs plus 104. Unders minus 128. Bolts plus 1.5 is minus 92. Leafs minus 1.5 is plus 164. This screams bounce back spot for the Maple Leafs. So I'm going to go with the Leafs in regulation at minus 115 to even up the series. 7:30 TBS, Rangers, Devils. Devils looking up to even the series. They're minus 132 home favorites. Rangers are plus 110 over under 5.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 225. Devils minus 1.5 is plus 184. I'm going to take the Devils in regulation at plus 115. This feels like a bounce-back spot for them, too. 9:30 ESPN, Kraken Avs. Avs minus 220, Kraken plus 180, over under 5.5, overs minus 128, unders plus 104. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 146, Avs minus 1.5 is plus 122. We're going to continue tonight's trend. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Avalanche. And last but not least, TBS 10 o'clock, Jets Golden Knights. Who would be on the call? Brendan Burke and Darren Pang? Or I honestly don't think it'll be John Forsland because he has the Kraken, but maybe that's it. Islanders are off. So we'll see. Vegas at home is minus 166. Winnipeg's plus 138. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Winnipeg plus 1.5 is minus 182. Vegas minus 1.5 is plus 150. I still like the over 5.5 at minus 112. All right, now move on to hockey. Baseball. We just did hockey. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today's games. Rays over the Reds 8-0. Guardians over the Tigers 3-2. Giants over the Marlins 5-2-11. Cards over the D-backs 14-5. Phils over the White Sox 5-2. Rangers over the Royals 12-3. Mets over the Dodgers 5-3. Pirates over the Rockies 14-3. Cubs over the A's 12-2. Brewers over the Mariners 5-3. Padres over the Braves 1-0. Orioles over the Nats 4-0. Yankees over the Angels 3-2-10 on a walk-off sac fly by Gleyber Torres. Twins over the Red Sox 10-4. Astros over the Blue Jays 8-1. All right, not a lot of games today. 1:30. Twins Red Sox, MLB Network. Kenta Maeda, Tanner Houck. Boston's minus 120, Twins plus 102, over under 9, overs minus 120, unders minus 102, Twins minus 1.5 is plus 150, Red Sox plus 1.5 is minus 182. I'm going with the Twins outright plus 102. 4 o'clock, Angels Yankees. Patrick Sandoval, Nestor Cortez. Yanks minus 152, Angels plus 128, over under 8.5, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Angels plus 1.5 is minus 162, Yankees minus 1.5 is plus 134. Patrick Sandoval's been very good this year. And Nestor's been solid as well. The offensive for the Yankees has been low-key hideous over the last week or so. Ever since they put up the 10 against the Guardians, their offense has been garbage. So, and I know some of that has to do with injuries. Stanton, looking at you. And that hamstring. So I'm going to go under Yankee runs for plus 106. Maybe this is a push. I'm not suggesting the Yankees are going to lose again. I think the Angels might go under 3.5 as well, but I feel better about the Yankees because it's at a better number as well. No juice has to be laid that much. 6:30 Reds Pirates. Luke Weaver making his season debut against Ronci Contreras. Pittsburgh minus 162, Reds plus 136, over under 9, minus 110 each way. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 140, Pirates minus 1.5 is plus 116. I like the over in that game. Rockies Phillies, Ryan Feltner, Matt Strom. Phils minus 225, Rockies plus 188, over under 9, overs minus 132, unders even money. Rockies plus 1.5 is minus 102, Phillies minus 1.5 is minus 118. I'm going to go with over 3.5 Rockies runs, minus 114. I think that's low. I think Chris Bryant could have a big day. 7:30 Dodgers Cubs from Wrigley. Michael Grove, Jamison Tyon. Cubs are favored. Are you kidding me? Minus 120. Dodgers plus 102. Over under 10.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Dodgers plus 1.5 is minus 178. Cubs minus 1.5 is plus 146. I don't think the Cubs should be favored here. But I'm not even going to pick the Dodgers either. I like the under. Full game under. That is a high total too. I know the Cubs have a better record than the Dodgers right now, but still. It's not like Hayden Wisniewski or anybody that I like more than Tyon. I mean, Michael Grove hasn't been good for the Dodgers. But, still. Game pick's going to be the under because that's a high total. 9:30 Padres D-backs, Michael Wacha and Ryan Nelson. Padres minus 134, D-backs plus 114, over under 9.5. Overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Padres minus 1.5 is plus 118. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 142. And go with the Diamondbacks as a home underdog at plus 112. And last but not least, 9:45 Mets Giants. Cody Senga, Sean Manaea. Mets minus 126, Giants plus 108, over under 8, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Mets minus 1.5 is plus 134, Giants plus 1.5 is minus 162. I'm going to go full game under for that one. All right, now I'll move on to soccer. We'll go over notable results from yesterday and look ahead to everything going on today. International friendly from last night, Mexico and U.S. 1-1 draw. Goals scored by Uriel Antuna in the 55th minute and Jesus Ferreira of U.S. in the 81st minute. UEFA quarterfinals. So, Man City Bayern 1-1 draw, but Man City advances 4-1 on aggregate. Inter Milan and Benfica 3-3 draw, but Inter Milan advances 5-3 on aggregate. Semifinals will start Tuesday, May 9th. English League Championship, Blackburn Coventry 1-1 draw, Keepyard Norwich City 1-1 draw, Swansea over Preston 4-2, Cardiff over Watford 3-1, Borough over Hull 3-1, Reading Luton 1-1 draw. Dutch League, Go Ahead Eagles over RKC Waldwick 3-2. English Women's Super League, Brighton and Hove over Everton 3-2. Man United over Arsenal 1-0. The Women's Soccer League Challenge Cup, Orlando, North Carolina 1-1 draw. Gotham over Washington 1-0. Kansas City over Houston 2-0. San Diego over Portland 1-0. And OL Reign over Angel City 2-0. So a lot of big leagues play tomorrow. And the weekend. So I'm just going to make sure who... All right, so we actually have Mexican Liga tonight. We have Tigres and Puebla. Tigres is minus 250, Puebla 6-1. The draw is plus 370. I'm going to go with the draw valuable plus 370. So we actually do have some Europa stuff. We have second legs. 3 o'clock AS Roma and Feyenoord. So Roma's minus 140, Feyenoord's plus 380, the draw's plus 250. Feyenoord's playing very well. They're up 1-0 on aggregate. I'm going to take them plus 380. Sevilla and Man United. Man United's even money. Sevilla's plus 280, draw plus 240. They're tied on aggregate. It's hard to go against Man United, so I'm going to take them at even money. Sporting and Juventus. Juventus up 1-0 on aggregate. Lipson's plus 125. Juventus plus 240. Draws plus 210. I'm going to go with the draw plus 210. And then Union SG and Leverkusen. Leverkusen's even money. Union St. Alois is plus 270. Draws plus 240. I'm going to go with another draw plus 240. And they're tied on aggregate. So I'm going to say Leverkusen. It draws, but Leverkusen has to go into kicks and whatnot. All right, now move on to golf. We have the latest tournament getting underway, which is the I forget the name of it already. The Zurich Classic. So the leaderboard right now, tied for first with 5 under is Matthew Neesmith and Taylor Moore and Wesley Bryant. And Grayson Murray. In third place with a score of 3 under, Kevin Stadler, Jeff Ogilvie, Doc Redmond, and Sam Ryder, Keith Mitchell, Sanjay M., and Patton Gazira, Brendan Todd. Tied for 7th with 2 under, Kevin Chappell, Jason Duffner, Derek Lamley, Mark Hubbard, Ryan Moore, Jim Herman, Justin Sunsey, Thiglia, Harry English, and Tom Hogue, Trey Merritt, Robert Streb. Tied for 13th with 1 under, Bill House and Jonathan Byrne, DJ Trent, Chad Collins, Scott Stallings, Trey Molinax, Adam Hadwin, Nick Taylor, Billy Herschel, Sam Birds, Colin Morikawa, Max Homa, Matt Fitzpatrick and Alex Fitzpatrick, Michael Gilgick, Taylor Pendrith, DA points, Jimmy Walker, Joseph Burnett, Brandon Wu. Tied for 23rd at even, Ryan Palmer. Oh, they just moved up, Ryan Palmer and Scott Beersey. Scott Brown and Richie Runsky tied for 24th at even. Austin Cook, Andrew Landry, Hayden Buckley and JJ Spawn, Nick Hardy, Davis Riley, Power Shummy and Michael Thompson, Matthias Schmid, Dylan Fertelli, Robbie Sheldon, Lee Hodges, Sang Moon Bae and Sung Kung, and Davis Lipsky and Aaron Ray, and the rest have yet to tee off. Alrighty, now we'll recap the episode from Survivor last night. It was an interesting episode, to say the least. It starts with the post-tribal council and Jam yet again being like, I survived and here I am, I'm the cat with 9 lives. Carson was ill. And Stanley was out to break out the Ratu tribe. Targeted by Lauren. Or targeting Lauren. And then Tremail on day 15 instructed everybody to divide into pairs for the immunity challenge, as the 5 pairs would maneuver themselves through a tangled net 1 at a time, then dig up 3 planks from the sand pit, and the first 4 pairs to be done use the planks to cross the rope bridge, and then the first 2 pairs to make it across make it to the final round, where they would compete as individuals, and the final 4 stood on narrow footholds at regular intervals, and the footholds would get narrower, and the last person left standing won immunity. So Carson was with Carolyn. Jam Jam was with Franny. Jamie was with Heidi. Lauren was with Danny. And Jam Jam was with Brandon. So Danny, Lauren, Brandon, and Jam Jam, I believe, were the Kane was with Brandon. And so it was Carson and Carolyn. Danny was with Lauren. Franny was with Jam Jam. That was what it was. Franny was with Jam Jam. Brandon was with Kane. And then Jamie and Heidi were together. So it was Brandon, Kane, Lauren and Danny were the final four. Lauren won immunity, which ruined Danny's plan. And then the vote came down to Ratu against Soka with Tika front, like in the middle. Ratu was targeting Franny while Soka was targeting Brandon. And then Danny told his group about his idol and planned to play it for Franny, but Heidi leaked it to Carson and Jam Jam, causing chaos for the Soka Alliance. And at Tribal, Carson and Jam Jam voted for Franny, but Carolyn went the other way and voted Brandon. Danny placed the idol on Franny to negate the 6 votes, and a blindsided Brandon was sent to the jury. So Carolyn, Danny, Franny, and Heidi were on the right side of the vote. So good on Carolyn. And then Carson, Jamie, Kane, Lauren, Jam Jam, and Brandon all tried to vote out Franny. So it was a great move by Danny and a selfless move by Danny to use his idol on Franny. So it was a very interesting episode, to say the least. Okay, now move on to the news and notes for today. The podcast is a little bit shorter today because we didn't have a lot to do. So we'll start in football. Will Levis visited the Patriots as they hosted him as part of their due diligence ahead of the draft. Draft prospect Michael Jefferson won't play until 2024 after being hit by a drunken driver earlier in the month. That's just sad. Hopefully he gets well soon. There's a lot of other things. Trey Lance is in trade rumors now. Everyone's making up trades for him. The Allen Robinson trade to the Steelers was finalized after passing his physical yesterday. That's a great addition for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Kansas City Chiefs had Mahomes and Zay Fowler's projected first-round pick working out together today. Ooh, that's very interesting. Tua Tagovailoa considered retirement after multiple concussions kept him out a lot of last year. So that's very very interesting. But luckily, he decided not to retire for his sake and the Dolphins' sake, and because him retiring would have been sad. It would have been very sad. Because I think Tua has a lot of potential, and he was on his way to a breakout season if he wasn't getting concussed so much. And I still think he has potential. Very controversial thing in the Met game yesterday. Max Scherzer got ejected after a heated umpire argument about his glove, as he had Rawson on his glove. And he was adamant that he wasn't using anything else. He said it was sweat and Rawson. So that was obviously a big story, but the Mets ended up winning the game. And Scherzer using stuff is very would make sense because he's been struggling this season. Aaron Judge really put on a show yesterday. He robbed Ohtani of a home run in center field. And then he homers in the bottom of the first. And then he makes the diving catch in the top of the 8th inning to rob the Angels of a go-ahead hit. And it was his show yesterday. And he keeping an eye on Shohei Ohtani to see where he goes if he hits free agency. I do think he'll hit free agency unless he's traded. And I think there's a chance he's traded. I do. I think somebody's going to be desperate. Like, the Phillies don't have Rhys Hoskins. Like, can't you just totally see them being desperate? And maybe Andrew Painter has another setback? I made that trade prediction before the season. If they kind of turn it around a little bit, don't rule that out. I could see that ownership making a panic trade. Josh Donaldson out indefinitely after receiving MRI for hamstring injury. Josh Donaldson, I think, is washed, and I'll admit defeat on that trade. Not that I thought that it was a good trade by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a worse trade than I ever thought it was going to be. Josh Donaldson is washed, and IKF is one of the worst 5 players in all of baseball. So that was just a terrible trade that the Yankees and the Twins both made because neither team got anything out of it. Sanchez and Urshela are no longer on the Twins. So that was the rare awful trade by both teams. And that was arguably the worst trade Brian Cashman's ever made. The Athletics are closing in on a deal to build a $1 billion park in Vegas. Oh, that's juicy. And they're going to have 4 teams now because, let's face it, they're getting an NBA team. They're getting the A's and they're getting a basketball team, and they have the Golden Knights and they have the Raiders. So Vegas all of a sudden is a sports town, and I think it's wonderful. Basketball, Mike Brown named the Coach of the Year over Joe Mazzulla and Mark Dagnall. First Kings coach to ever win the award. Well-deserved. Mike Brown had the best year among coaches this year. So he is very deserving of the award. The Wizards fired their general manager, Tommy Shepard, after they missed the postseason again. After 4 seasons, he just isn't good at his job, or wasn't good at his job. Made some bad trades, failed to blow up the team at the deadline, and I'm interested to see who they hire. It's going to be interesting. That's an interesting job that just opened up in the NBA. More Wizards news. A fan accused Bradley Beal of assault, as Beal and the team was sued for over $50,000 for alleged battery and assault following a game on March 21st in Orlando. Yikes. That's just really bad. Lauri Markkanen's in the military for Finland, as he officially reported for his mandatory military service. And then Dylan Brooks called out LeBron last night as he was chirping, and he seemed to not care. Scoot Henderson says he's the number one pick because he's confident he should go one over Victor Wembanyama. That's the dumbest thing I've heard. I think that takes the cake other than the Jets' Derek Carr thing. This is equally as bad, if not worse. I mean, Victor Wembanyama is the best prospect we've had, arguably, since LeBron. And people are saying that he's the best prospect we've ever had. I'm not willing to go that far. But Wembanyama is some talent. Scoot is very good too. Any other year, Scoot Henderson would be the easy number one overall pick. Kansas lands Towson transfer Nick Timberlake as he picks Kansas over UConn and Carolina. So that is a big get for Bill Self and company. Patrice Bergeron missed last night due to an injury. But awful news for the Carolina Hurricanes. Sands gone up 2-0 in the series. Teuvo Teravainen has a broken hand and he's going to need surgery. That is brutal for them. After he injured his hand against the Islanders. That's just brutal, and they're lucky they're up 2-0. Listen, if they win this series, I don't see them advancing past the Rangers Devils winner. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I picked against them because of their injury situation in the first place, and now the situation just got worse. And that's in spite of them being up 2-0 in the series, which is the silver lining in this. Benzema signs an extension as he logs in for his 15th season at Real Madrid, so that's good news for them. U.S. and Mexico bid for the 27 Women's World Cup as the joint bid is looking to bring Women's World Cup back to the U.S. for the first time since 2003. And Tiger Woods has successful surgery, recovering from procedure to address post-traumatic arthritis from the ankle fracture. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. Going back to the well did not work for me last night. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I'm going with the over in the Vegas-Winnipeg game. I'm going to go over 5.5, lay a quarter unit on it between Vegas and Winnipeg for my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow, recapping everything, looking ahead to a busy weekend ahead. We have American Idol to talk about too tomorrow. And then obviously news and notes and best bet. Have a great day, everybody.